Good day to you glorious Rascallion Resonators, you absolute legends. The name is FOXSOL, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to some more Wuthering Waves, and like always, I hope that you're having a terrific, fantastic, and/or amazing day. Right now, we're currently going through a hurricane right now, and you'll probably hear it in the mic with the wind and everything else because it's gusting pretty heavily out there, almost up to like 100 miles per hour. We haven't lost power yet, so hey, that means I can go ahead and record. My internet's kind of on the wonky side right now, but doesn't mean I can't record now, does it? So, with that being stated, what are we recording today? Well, let's get into a topic that I think, honestly, I want to engage more on. We've already kind of hit this topic with another video before, which is, does WuthringWaves need an end game? Where is the end game? Well, in there, I discussed about co-op. I discussed that, you know, to me, WuthringWaves needs to have a more fundamental structure to the networks, and I want to talk more about it. So, if you're interested, take a seat right there, grab yourself a drink, the bar's always open, and let's get into the video. Woo, boy, it's gusting outside, I'll tell you that right now, boys and girls. But, like I was stating, right, today's video topic is just about the network side of things, and why I do believe that Kuro Games themselves needs to focus and adapt this network play more into Wuthering Waves than it is now, and needs to be actually forced. This is gonna sound probably really dumb to some people out there, and I already take it. You know, some people out there are going to be like, well, you know, I only want to play a single player gacha game, and that's fine. You can play the single player side of the gacha game, but I think that another side of this game that needs to be adapted adapted probably sooner than later, like I would say that by 2.0 this should be established, is that we need to have a heavy focus of content on co-op, on general network matchup. And the reason why I say that is because I've been having conversations about the old gacha game that I covered, Devil May Cry, Peak of Combat, and we're talking how shitty the game is, right? But I'm talking about, you know, take it away from the cons of that game. What was some of the pros? And one of the biggest pros in that game that really made that game actually where the community itself had fun and was actually doing things was the boss raids that was forced co-op, meaning that in that game what would happen, right, is that you would go play in a boss raid mode and you were forced to play with 3 other people, and there was no way you could do it by yourself unless you EX the character and, you know, you had 3 other people that was willing to join in and then disconnect and let you be the only player left to do it. In Wuthering Waves, I feel like that type of situation should be also added because it forces community interaction. It forces people to work with other people. It forces more of a play style of teamwork than anything. And in all honesty, it makes it to where, you know, people actually have more fun, I think, nowadays playing multiplayer games than anything than just single player games. And it gives more versatility to the kind of content you can actually produce for a game like Wuthering Waves, in all honesty. So what I would say is that there should be, whether it's a boss raid style, whether it's its own, you know, events, but something that's not time limited, something that is actually, you know, more or less it's going to be there permanently. And it's just a situation, an event or whatever that, you know, we go fight a boss rush, make like 3 or 4 new bosses or something like that, to where we just go into this and it's only network play and we go fight. You could take something like the Elusive Depths, for example. You can turn that into a scenario to where you could do co-op and you're forced to work with other people to complete it. Now, before we continue any further into this conversation, I already can hear my ears are ringing about this shit right now. Is I'm gonna have this one or two people that's gonna come in here and be like, well, you know, there, FOXSOL, there is already co-op in the game. You don't know the simulation challenges or the forgery challenges. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I already know about that. And I'm gonna tell you right now that it's the most useless fucking shit to go ahead and co-op in. Like, nobody I know of actually gonna go ahead and co-op, you know, in terms for these events. Like, this is forgery challenges, you know, this is simulation challenges. By all means, anybody could do that single-handedly and get it done in a matter of a couple of seconds with a truly built-up character than anything. So if you already got a DPS that you've been working on 9 out of 10 times, okay, unless you haven't really been working that well, you're gonna complete that faster than you would be able to find a fucking match, okay? And the rewards to do that would be kind of shitty anyway for both players. All right, what I'm talking about is you have, like, you see the calamity bosses, right, that we can go fight. The calamity bosses are something, are basically their own event, right, that you can complete 3 times a week. You get 3 chances to go ahead and fight it 3 times a week and go get the, you know, the resources from them. I'm talking that we should have, like in, you know, like Devil May Cry Peak of Combat, there should be either a certain mode, a boss raid, something to the effect of this, that you, I, whoever can go match up in this or bring in 2 other friends and go play. And, you know, like, it'll say, like, you know, you up to a week you can get it 5 of these, you can do this 5 times a week, and it's, you could use wave plates for it or whatever, or even separate it from using wave plates, and it's just a place where we get additional resources from, something that, you know, the rewards are really, really good. Like, it's a chance to get, you know, 4-star weapons from really good 4-star weapons. Maybe even like a chance to get a 5-star weapon, or, you know, you can even have it to where they could put in fragment pieces, right? So where if you get like 30 fragment pieces, you can go ahead and select, like, you know, a 5-star character that, of your choice or whatever, to go ahead and collect. You can have something like that to where it would make it to where people would want to play with one another. They're going to want to do the event, and it would force, you know, a good interaction with the community itself. That is what I think the reason why co-op needs to be established in here, is because everything in this so far, even the tower defense that they added, I don't need to go into matchmaking. Matchmaking is completely, utterly useless, in all honesty, to me. We're just gonna go in, we're gonna be in there for less than a minute, and it's gonna be like, okay, how you doing, goodbye, whatever. And in all honesty, there's no real interaction between me and the other players. There's no real reason to even do this type of co-op. But in a situation where you create an event that is a permanent event, boss raid, an elusive depths dungeon crawler type deal, some to that effect, to where, you know, you and a bunch of friends go through, the rewards are actually really good for collecting on, because you're working together as a team. And these events, you know, start at, like, let's say level 85, right? Let's say they start at level 80, and the higher difficulty goes all the way up to like 125, or, you know, even like 150. And it's just something that challenges go up. You're able to go all the way to the highest challenge. We're able to take people who might be even lower level, bring them in to these challenges, carry them, and in general have it to where the community can work together to complete these events instead of just single-handedly doing it. Because in all honesty, a lot of games, you know, the reason why Peak of Combat is still a game that is very well niched but still has a lot of people playing the game for something that is so crappy in the way it's being managed by the community managers, by the company itself, is because we have it to where the community themselves go in there for the daily raids. They work with one another. They establish connection with people. Say, hey, look, I need a carry here. I need this. You know, I'll really need to get the Hellfilth killed today. And you got people like myself and everything who was playing, you know, hey, come join in. We'll get you in and we'll go play. Even if I've already collected all the rewards from it, I would go, you know, help other people. And it was a way of establishing the community and forcing players to actually communicate with one another, work with one another, be team players with one another. And that is why I say, like I said in my in-game video, that this is something that I think Kuro Games really needs to focus their attention on, is establishing network. You know, like early game, you don't need network, you don't need no co-op whatsoever. Even to where you get to the end game, you don't need co-op. But you set up an event that is truly going to be so difficult for a person to do single-handedly that you need to have a team of 3 others who are going to come in and play. And you have a chat, you have everything. You can establish more of a multiplayer style game in WutheringWaves than a single player RPG that I think a lot more people would just enjoy in general. It would be something that would be highly unique. That even though technically, yes, Devil May Cry has already done it, it would be unique for something like WutheringWaves, because even in GLYTCH Impact, I've heard from an old friend of mine, Valk, who's done GLYTCH Impact, Honkai Star Rail, who's doing ZZZ right now in his Roblox games. And legitimately, like, the one thing that they were always talking about is like the co-op sucks. Like, there's no real necessary need to do co-op. No one really needs help in co-op. You just do things. And the game becomes kind of boring at that point, where co-op, you know, even as a content creator, right? Dude, we could do live streams to where if people are having trouble with this certain event or whatever, we can join in as a co-op and we can help that person grind it and get the rewards at the end of the day. There's different things that can help establish more of a community-based scenario, as a content-based scenario. There is different things, different ways of handling the structure of this that ultimately would benefit WutheringWaves a lot more and would validate it and make it more unique than most other gotchas. So I'll leave it with that. I'll let you guys, you know, tell me what your thoughts is. My personal opinion is I think co-op needs a rework. I really think that the co-op needs a more of a rework, and it needs to be established and a forced upon interaction. I feel like that some part of this game, we need to have it to where events like, you know, the dungeon defense is fully permanent, not just a temporary, you know, scenario. It is there on purpose, permanently. But it is forced to where you just can't do it single-handedly. You have to be with other players. And I'd like to get your thoughts on that, guys. Tell me what your thoughts is. Do you like the idea that would you like the idea that if WutheringWaves were to, you know, establish more of a higher, I guess, how to put this, how to show words, a higher regards more to network play than just focusing on the single gameplay? You know what I'm saying? You tell me what your feelings is down below in the comment section. I'll take a look at it, try to get back to you guys as soon as possible. Sorry I have not been, you know, responding to comments like I should be, but the last 24 hours, man, we're dealing with some raging storms right now. But as soon as all that's taken care of and everything comes back to normal, I will do on purpose to try to reach back to each and every one of y'all the best I possibly can and get to those comments as soon as possible. So, but if you want something more instant, don't forget, we do have a Discord server. You can go ahead, anybody can join it. You can come talk anytime you want. Link is in the description below. And until next time, guys, you take it easy, you have a good one, and I'll catch you on the flip side. So stay classy, keep jazzy. See you later.